Welcome, everybody. Welcome the participants in our class today, because today we're going to have Vít, one of our level 3 participants, one of our coaches who is presenting a work around inspired by the book you have read for your certification process, but talking and exploring the competencies, the coaching competencies through the lenses or through the perspective of this book, and with a view towards the MCC level of coaching. So it's going to be interesting to listen to your point of view, and then we will share our considerations and also our learning and what we have achieved, gained through this work. Thank you for presenting your work. And so I'll give you all the space and the sharing of the screen with your work.
Okay, thank you very much. So good afternoon in Europe, in Central Europe. Good afternoon. Sorry, Jill. Now I want to check if you see my first screen.
Yes, we can see.
Can you see? Okay,
Thank
good,
you.
good. Yeah, well, so I'm here today to present you the book I read, and it really speaks to me. Where I found this book is actually here in Sunlight Academy School, because Christina invited the author, which is Clare Norman, and she did the video presentation here, and I was actually, it caught my attention, and I bought this book. You can find this video on a portal, I think, so you can see it. And this presentation is really not about how book is structured and what is in each chapter. It's and this was actually feedback from Christina. It should be more about my subjective view, my takeaways, my insights, and I looked at it from the MCC perspective. So this book attracted my attention also because it's a lot about unlearning and shifts. So it's not about learning new techniques and processes and so on and so on and so on. This is actually the opposite. This is about unlearning and shifting your mind to become a masterful coach. It is divided into 7 sections, and each of them is named by mindset we learned from, 3 dots, school, parents, coach training, and so on, that need to be discarded to be more masterful coach. And there is 83 shifts in the book. So there is a lot of things, and it's easy to read it because every shift is on 1 to 3 pages maximum. It's easy to read it. But let's look at this book, what is there. But first, before I start to present the book, I have prepared this slide with a quote. And this quote is my metaphor of how I understand what is the MCC coaching. So you can read it, and this is from, click. Oh, I can't. Michelangelo. I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. So it is my understanding, my metaphor of we have learned many things, many processes, and how to ask questions and so on and so on. And somebody maybe add into his or her coaching some other modalities like NLP and things like that and other tools. And we have actually the full basket of tools. But on MCC level, and this is what I learned from Christina, it's about simplicity. It's about presence and being with the client. So it's about cutting off the things which are not really necessary, which is not what our thinker, as he's called in the book, needs and wants. So It's much more about the client, where we should aim our attention and really put on side everything which is not necessary until the moment it stays in the masterful mode. And I'm talking about our coaching. And it's very much in line with, for example, MCC characteristic 7.2. Coach stimulates new client insights with minimal, precise questions. As you see, this is one of the things. Minimal, precise question, not long sentences and explanation why I'm asking and what I'm asking about. It's just listening, be with the client, ask the question, or do reflective inquiry. There is also other points, like point 5.3, like coach engage in the coaching conversation with ease and fluidity. Ease, not complexity, with ease and fluidity. And the second one, 5.4, coach leverages silence to support the client and the client's growth. Silence. There is nothing at. Yeah. So this is my introductory quote from Michelangelo, and we can look now into why actually I have selected this book as well. And you see 3 points. 1, evolution. I understood that coaching and coaches and clients
Elena, it's getting.
Hi, Rola. That everybody and everything is evolution. It's in the constant process. So there is no possible that that something stays as it is forever. It's impossible. Also, coaching is part of the world, so it's also evolution. There is also evolution of the coaching, and I learned a lot here. And you will see some aspects in my presentation, what I have learned about new views, what is the real coaching now. Then also the present. As an MCC coach, really, as I said, tools are not required. And questions, okay, these are the basic tools. But the present is the important thing. Be with the client, hold the space for the client so that he can create. And the third one is the simplicity, and I already mentioned it in my previous slide, that this is really something like be simple and focus on the client. And all these aspects together actually liberated me, my coaching. So I don't, because of the study in Sunlight Academy, in the program, and this book, I feel much more relaxed going into coaching interaction and conversation, because I don't put responsibility for things which doesn't belong to me, which belong to client, to thinker. I should not save him, protect him, work for him, help him. This is not on me. And it feels really good. If I put all these things on the side, I can just be for him or for her and coach him. This is what is the main value of and the main reason I choose the book. So let's look at few points. First theme is the trust. And actually, you have learned a lot about the trust. Nothing new, okay? Well, the trust, deepness of the trust, level of trust is the sign of level of the coach. And this is something I understood during the level 3 program. I have been coaching already 15 years, but till last year, I thought I'm on the senior level. And yeah, well, there will be some polishing and, fine tuning of my coaching maybe. But I was really wrong. And I understood that things like trust is much deeper than I was thinking about this term before. It's much deeper. And there is more we can do, or I can do as a coach, to really cultivate the trust. And why is it important? Because if there is a good and deep trust between us, what client feels? He feels he can be vulnerable. And this is the mold when he or she can create, where he can look at himself and don't hide anything, even from himself or herself. So this is the source state, this is resourceful state of the client when he feels safe to be vulnerable. And coaching many clients during last 15 years, I gained one experience, and I hear it from the clients, even if I don't ask. They usually say, you are the only person in my life, including private life, where I can say everything and I'm not judged. I'm not advised. I'm not manipulated. I can just say whatever I want and I'm accepted as I am. And this is it. That's why it's important to build a trust. Also, one of the surprises from the book is that what contributes to the trust is solid contract and clear boundaries. I never connected it, but this really makes sense. If you know what to expect, if you know what to not expect, if you know, if coach partners you in definition of where we aim, everything is more clear. Client knows, and people like to know. If people don't know, they don't feel safe. And you see the connection with the trust here. So it's super important to work on a contract and recheck it during the session and keep the boundaries of what we are doing. And of course, be transparent in this area. Another thing is challenging feedback and supportive feedback. It's not to be just nice. It's to be kind, but sometimes challenging. And it's also supporting the trust. And as I said, acknowledging the client or the thinker, who he or she is in the moment, is also supporting the trust, because this is what they are not experiencing in other parts of their lives, in other situations with other people. So what we do is actually we are holding the space for the client. We are holding the space. But to do it, we have to really believe that client is, or the person sitting with us in the room is creative, resourceful, and whole. He does not need to add anything from our side. If we have this mindset, we can cultivate the trust. So what we do as masterful coaches to get on this level is to hold the space for the client and don't add anything. Then they don't need to add anything. They don't need to add advice or our expertise, our opinion. They don't need it. If you do it, if we would do it, we would not coach. Yeah, so this is the trust topic. Of course, if you have questions or disagreements, you can say it. Another topic is this one. Any progress is a good progress. Because if I read old books of the coaching, there is written like, define the goal, and this is the goal for today's session, and check if you have that you have achieved this goal with the client. And if not, you have not done this job. I make it very, simplistic. But this was the old-fashioned coaching focused on results and achievements in this material world, like in companies, for example, sales results, for example. But this is actually the evolution of the coaching. Even if you have set some specific goal for the conversation and you check it, sometimes not necessary to exactly achieve what client wanted, because the conversation evolves. And what was said 30 minutes before doesn't have to be valid the same way in after 30 minutes conversation, because client realizes, have new insights, new ideas, new perspectives. So the goal evolves during the session. So any progress is a good progress. And guess what it does with me? If I read this and read this kind of shift again, it was releasing. I was not like, okay, when it's 10 minutes till the end of the session and he's not there where he said, an hour ago. It may lead into changing my role from coach to his kind of superior or manager or advisor, to move as fast as possible and achieve predefined target an hour ago. With this awareness, new awareness, that any progress is a progress, and it's tiny from our perspective now, but for the client, it's opening a new door. And the miracle can happen after the session. But without this conversation, it wouldn't happen. That's why it's, especially for me, super important. It's also important to take it into consideration, because if we don't take it this way, then we can really take over the lead of the session, and this is not required, expected from us. And this also allows us to engage the thinker into conversation. So the goal for us is to do not stick to the initial goal, because goal is evolving, or the goal can evolve during the conversation. It's on us to check it with the client, with the thinker, where he is, what he needs now, if this is still the same, or if there is any change. So the final quote here: make sure that the thinker explores everything and ignores nothing. Yeah, be flexible. The other picture is actually, and picture and topic is being useful rather than being helpful. Yeah, when I'm asking new coaches, what are you going to do? I will help my client to 3 dots. Helping. Who do we help? People who can't do it for themselves, like is on the picture, because he is hurt. This guy is hurt, so other peer helps him. But this means, if we take this mindset into coaching, it means we see our clients as incomplete, not capable, not resourceful. And this is not coaching approach. This is not definitely a master coaching approach. So with this mindset, helpful is actually to rescue somebody, to do something for somebody else, and it creates dependency. And this is not the goal, and this is not the philosophy of coaching. Coaching creates independency, enabling thinkers to think for themselves, using their resources, because we believe they can. There is enough resources. So we are empowering thinkers to create for themselves also the session. That's why we're engaging them into the session. And by doing this, we are partnering our clients and thinkers to build their thinking muscle. Yeah, it's like when you go to gym, but this is the same. When they learn how to think, and this is possible, and this is successful, and this is resourceful, and it gives you energy and power and everything, they will tend to do it by themselves even after the session. And this is what we should do. We should support them to be independent in the future. and also during the session, of course. So the best way how to add value is to, again, hold the ground for the thinker and be useful by holding the ground, not being helpful by helping, supporting, rescuing. All right? Another picture is about, and it's very much connected as you see, it's about being partner of our clients and thinkers. The first picture shows the different position. This is the teacher or an expert who is explaining something. Maybe here it's kind of architecture, who is explaining students how it is or how it should be. From the partnering perspective, you see, he's even standing physically, which is even more actually gives him more power over the students. So it's not partnering position. It's not the partnering position. So don't be service provider. Don't be fixer or an expert. You know, Claire actually, in the book, Claire mentioned that rather think about clients as a thinkers. Because if we think about them as about clients, we are putting ourselves into the mode of service providers. And service providers are providing the value for the money. And if we don't take it as a really professional coaches, it can lead us to add something when we see from our perspective that client is not progressing enough from our perspective. So it can actually lead us into give him our resources, advices, tips, and take over the lead over the session. So Claire is proposing, and I would like to use it, but it's not usual, rather than client, to think about them like thinkers and our partners. Yeah. So be partner. Don't be fixer, expert, or say protector or something like that. If we would be kind of helper, we would make it easier for a client. No, we would make it easier. But this is not the goal of, or this is not the role of coach. This is not actually our role to make it easier for him. Sometimes we make it really hard. And sometimes my client says, "Oh, I'm so tired, but this was good." Sure, it's huge consumption of intellectual energy. If you go deep, if you experience some emotions, it is exhausting. But it's the sign that this was density. This has density. This session, so they usually appreciate this kind of consumption of the mental energy and emotional energy. So it's not about making it easier or harder for the client. It's about partnering them and being useful and meaningful to a thinker. And, it's not on us to set what kind of deepness it should have and so on and so on. It's on the partner. It's on our partner, on the thinker. So it's good to be okay with not knowing. Yeah. And what we should do actually, just to listen, respect, engage, thinker, trust, be present. So what we should really do is to embrace the partner mentality, to bring the value as resourcers, not as helpers. Yeah. And now a little challenge if it appears as I wanted. What do you see? Try to reply somebody. What do you see?
Nothing. Blackness.
This is good. Nothing. I like it. Nothing. Empty slide. I have read some books about Buddhism. And, you know, this is something what is amazing for Buddhists. Because if there is nothing, this is the best state for anything emerging. Anything can emerge. Yeah. So there is a lot of space for anything that might come. The opposite might be this. And I'm talking now using this metaphor. I'm talking about mindset of the coach, about mind of the coach rather than mindset. Mind. If you're coming with lots of ideas how to solve, because I have been there, you know, how to solve the client's topic, you know, how to, where are the, what are the ways how to solve the situation? I have my experience. I use this this way and that way. So this is my mind then. And I don't give a thinker a space for his own ideas, insights, awareness, perspectives, because I know. So it's much better if you are okay with not knowing. And this is the best mindset when we enter the coaching conversation. And we can do some maybe mental exercises before the session to clear our mind from the daily stuff we have. We are also human beings, of course. But it's okay to not know. And it's actually much easier then to stay in a coaching position, in a coaching mindset, to be a good coach and masterful coach. Yeah. What we should know is our expertise, which is coaching, but not the topic of the client. Otherwise, it puts us out of the balance in relation to the client, puts us into parental mood. So be okay with not knowing. It's fine. But we are taught or are grown by our parents and managers and everybody in our lives. Not knowing is bad. You are incompetent. That's why it's so difficult for us to do this shift. That not knowing is actually a welcomed state if you want to coach a client. I believe you understand what I mean, to be okay with not knowing. Then there is very, very known, actually, the quote, because this is also the name of the book from Marsha Reynolds. I have it here, Coach the Person, Not the Problem. Yeah, we are not here to assess the problem, because then we are fascinated by the problem. And this is actually very transactional conversation. If you are talking and trying to solve the issue with a client, this is not our role. If you are talking about MCC role, client is focusing during the first stage of conversation. He's coming with the problem, but we see the person. We are coaching the person, not the problem. And it seems easy. It's not really the easy, because we all have our stories, our experiences, and this is so, attractive, because we know maybe, yeah, wow, I want to help you to suffer less. And if I say it, you may hear there is already intention. My intention to help you suffer less. If I fall into this trap, I'm not coaching. Yeah. So when you see this sentence, and also I will put it into connection with a GROW model. All probably the GROW model from John Whitmore: goal, reality, options, and will. In the end, I would like to focus on reality. What junior coaches do when they ask, okay, what's the situation now? What's happening in the conversation when we ask client, what's happening now? Well, he is reporting the situation to a coach as to an authority. And this is not the goal. If we talk about the current situation, it's much more useful to actually question about his thinking about the problem, his view, his feelings, his perspective, behavior about the client, about his relationship to a problem. So coach partners the person, not assessing the problem. This is the quotation from Marsha Reynolds. And I see the time, so I will speed up a bit. Another one is actually presenting the problem is rarely the desired outcome. And many resources and many experiences say that what client says the first, what thinker mentioned the first, I want to talk about this. This is very usually a symptom. We have to go deeper. We have to this is our role to really, it from the structure of what we should focus on and so on and so on. We should really focus on what's really behind, what's the meaning, why it is important, and so on and so on. So don't rush into the solution. Yeah, it's rather really to explore what is the value, what is the meaningful about the goal for the client, and then solving it from this level, then solution pops up suddenly, and with much more ease if we do really the first stage well. So yeah, coach partners the thinker to explore and work on meaningful outcome. This is very important word, and you can see also in our standards. Yeah, that's it. The next one is actually, I have 2 slides only. And this is my takeaway from the book. And this is just a summary. Trust the thinker. Trust more than you were used to trust. With really having in mindset that he's creative, wise enough, able to solve and find the solution for his problems and situation. It doesn't have to be only problems. He's able to make his own decisions. So empower him rather than protect and save him. Yeah. So trust him. This is very important mind shift. Partner with the thinker, and partnering is the most frequently used word in coaching definition by ICF. Not definition, but the standards, competencies. Most frequently used word is partnering, partner. Real partnering allows the client feel trusted in himself and herself to use inner wisdom and see new perspectives. So that's why it's important to partner, and this is the real meaning of the partnering. It's actually we don't have the word for partnering in my language, so it's difficult to talk about it in Czech language. And the third one is less is more. And as you see, all the presentation is about simplicity. Being simple, just say what is necessary, what brings the deep insight. It's usually very simple. More you say, which is not necessary, it takes attention to you as a coach, for example, and so on and so on. It disturbs the client or not empowering him. So just be there and really hold the ground for the client and stay simple. This will ensure that the client is in himself, in herself, and work by herself, which is very, very important. So simplicity is the sign of mastery, in my opinion. And it enables the thinker to stay focused on himself and herself. And it is really a powerful way of partnering the thinker in the process of a coaching. And I have a final quote for you with a picture. I love it. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, from Leonardo da Vinci. So this is the end of my presentation. If you have any addition, sharing, questions, disagreements, it's all fine.
Thank you, Vít. Yes, thank you for the engaging, sharing, and for the, let's say, energized work, also with images and movement, ideas, your own perspective. It would be great, since we're still recording, maybe we can also explore more when we close our recording, as we usually do, but maybe if someone wants to share what is your main takeaway, just by following the Leonardo da Vinci's simplicity quote in a simple sentence, what would it be, your takeaway from Vit's presentation today?
I see Chiara is writing, so we will have soon some message. Thank you.
I think there was a lot that was really, really interesting. The one that really jumped out at me and I hadn't heard was the difference between being useful and helpful. I have a question to ask for you for later, but that would be my main takeout, which really spoke to me.
And my main takeout would be simplicity, as you said. It's really, sometimes it's hard to let go and just, be simple. And we just need to be simple. But it's not that easy because, we're overwhelmed all the time, but by many different things. So I guess the first simplicity work is on ourselves and the things we do and the things we say. And that's my main takeout and these last weeks and days. So it's hard work, but thank you. I'm happy to know that it's a common work and it's good to share.
Thank you.
And
And,
yes, we have Chiara. Sorry about that. Sorry, Jean.
sorry,
We have
I didn't see
Chiara who is writing. You caught my attention when you talked about the clear boundaries, create the foundation for trust. You inspired me to reflect about the fact that boundaries also help us acknowledge our differences from our client. And yes, we will definitely talk more about that. Thank you.
And you, Jill, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, the point that stuck with me is the be okay with not knowing, because that is always my ongoing challenge and the mindset that I'm always trying to discard.
Yeah,
You.
also sharing what is impacting on us is also speaking to us, to our challenges, our needs, our perspective in the moment. So thank you for sharing. And for Vít, the question is, what was your main, let's say, gift that working at this presentation gave you?
Yeah, well, actually, it was our cooperation when I prepared the first version, and then when you helped me realize that this is being simple and focus on simplicity, as Erica resonate with as well, is not just during the session. If we go for simplicity, we may look at it holistically. So you said, if you are talking about, as you wrote me back this message, if you want to talk about simplicity, your presentation should be simple as well, to be really aligned with the presentation. My first version was terrible, of course, because I used a lot of words, because I was thinking, if somebody will open the presentation without my explanation, it will not have the value. But I realized then that this is the video with the comments, so I can stay simple. But this is the point, Christina.
Thank you. And you actually showed up not just with the, let's say, with the practical PowerPoint presentation, but also with your way of being in a very simple way. So you probably made it yours, and it was a process. This was also, through this work, through these type of assignments that are included in our certifications programs on any level 1, level 2, and level 3, we collaborate together, and it is a learning to be by doing. It's not just learning because you learn from a cognitive perspective, but we do it together, and so you can see a developing of new ideas, perspectives, and I'm also learning as a trainer, as a mentor, through your works and through your processes. So it's really a collaboration on two or many different sides, because we also have our community. So thank you very much. I will actually close our recording for today, but we will continue our conversation. So I invite all the students, all the coaches here in our community, also those who are going to watch this presentation in the next weeks and months, to be fully participative, to connect to our presentations live whenever it is possible, because your contribution counts a lot. So thank you, Vít, for your work today.
You're welcome.